What's up guys, this is Seven Steelsmith. I wanted to show you my recording setup that I used for the Dark Tower album. I've actually moved since recording of that album, but the setup is pretty much the same, just in a different location. So, and I need to apologize for the mess. It's a work in progress. We moved here about a month and a half ago, but here's my Macintosh computer. My desktop is an absolute disaster. These are my Tannoy Reveal active monitors that they don't make anymore that I absolutely love. So here's the actual recording rack set up right here. I'm using the Apogee Ensemble right there. That's my main interface. It has 4 mic pre's and then a space for there's like 4 analog inputs, so you can actually add 4 of your own mic pre's. So I've actually added the Focusrite ISA1. Here's my Grace, also a great sounding mic preamp, and for any additional channels we have the Motu 8 pre, which actually sounds pretty decent. And of course the Axe-Fx Ultra from Fractal. This was used for pretty much any lead you heard, lead solo on the album. I use this, except for maybe a couple of the cleaner ones, but this is indispensable. And I recorded everything on this Glyph hard drive. It's an older Glyph hard drive, got it for cheap, but it's 250 gigs and it did a great job. So let's take a look over here at the amps. I know I did one of these a while back, but now that we're finished with recording, so I can give you a better insight on what we use. So basically all the heavy stuff, we use this Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. This is, I think, serial number 98. The Rev C Pre 500, very sought after, and for good reason. This sounded killer. So that was all the heavy stuff on the album with this. And for the sort of mid-gain and cleaner stuff, we used this Fender Bandfaster, Blackface Bandfaster. Has a slightly larger output transformer, so it's a little bit beefier. That's sort of the complaint people have with these, but we use that for clean and a little bit of dirty stuff, and then for the rest of the clean and most of the kind of mid-gain stuff, this Marshall JSIM 800 reissue, which sounded absolutely killer. But yeah, these are great amps. All these I love. This Saldana was actually my first tube amp, and I haven't, that was not used in the album, but can't really sell it. It's just too much stream memories attached to that amp. And here's some just random pedals that I'm probably selling, so not important. And here is the rest of the room. It's a total disaster, but got some guitars in the rack, PRS, some Fender stuff, Strat, etc., and keyboard, aka storage, and my additional monitor, soldering iron and stuff. So this is a total wreck. Some more stuff. Not the prettiest looking studio area, but it definitely gets the job done. So let's take a look at the my main rig and then our new practice space. Alright guys, so here is the new practice space. We are actually above the living room, so we're not in the basement anymore, which is good in terms of being not in a nasty basement, but bad in terms of, I guess, sound for the neighbors. But it's a little bit small of a room, about half the size, but it's actually pretty big for us, or plenty big for us rather. Much better sound in here. Here is my bass player's rig, Billy. This is bass rig, and this is our extra guitar rig. Alright, here's my Mesa Boogie Stiletto 412, which is the only cab we actually use in the album. It's sadly in this corner right now, but I used actually a single Sennheiser 421 to record with, so this will, I'm sure, will remain the standard mic or standard cabinet for all this stuff from now on. There's my Mesa 212 right there. My Mesa dual rectifier trim reverb atop this Marshall JSIM 800 cab with Celestion D12H or D12C or D1265s, which are killer sounding speakers. Well, let's check out the drum kit real quick. It's a Tama Star Classic series. It's Star Classic Maple. Everything except for the kick drum, which is a Star Classic Performer, which is birch. So I got sort of mismatched toms and all sorts of crazy stuff just to save a little bit of money, but this is more of a studio kit. Like I said, this is all Tama Star Classic Maple as far as the toms are concerned, which is 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and a 13 inch over here, and then over here it's an 18 inch 4 tom, and then the 22 inch bass drum, which is, like I said, the Birch Star Classic Performer. So I've had the same pedal board for a while, pretty simple. I basically just use the Boss Giga Delay as the main sort of pedal. Everything else is kind of like a supplementary that I don't like stomping on stuff, to be honest. I really hate having to use pedals. So, but I have a couple options up here, like if I want to use the wah or the Tube Screamer, I'll toss those in every once in a while. The Freeze is more just for special effects, and the ISP decimator up here stays on all the time. Of course, the tuner is very important, and for some random clean stuff, I'll toss in the MXR Phase 45. And here's the Ignitor amp foot switch, which I basically stay on the lead channel, the SL2 lead channel, and then clean channel. Here is the pedal board for vocals, which is really just a vocal processor, and then there's my in-ear mixer right here to the left, which is made by Rock On Audio, the Tasty Blender, and that just provides me a direct feed from that TC Helicon Voice Live to the right of my actual vocal, so I can mix that in my in-ears and hear myself, because if I can't hear myself when I'm singing, I sound like crap. So here's my main amp, which is the Ignitor Mod 50. I've had this amp for about 5 years now, and I just love this amp. It's perfect for me live. I use the Bassman and SL2 modules. I have some other modules, but those are the ones that just work for me live, and they just sound great. And let's see, here's my 412 cab. It's a Port City 412 with Celestion Vintage 30s. I bought this cab actually without speakers in them from Dano at Port City, and this was actually the cab that Dusty Waring used to use. He was from Between the Bear to Me, or he is from Between the Bear to Me still, but this was his cab. It's a snake skin. It's pretty beat up, but that's perfect for me. I'm not trying to have anything too pretty on stage. But this is my rig, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. And here's one quick more view of the rehearsal room. Have that. Need to do some major cleaning. And let's just end with that Atma Weapon banner, which is blocked almost sacrilegiously by these strum stuff. But thanks for watching, guys. See you on the road.